Okay, so what I'm going to do is talk about callouts and zooming with you guys. I basically just pulled a few things from CNN on Halloween costumes that I might use with my social psych kids or something like that, and created a short PowerPoint that I taped. And then we're at the screen right now where the PowerPoint came directly into Camtasia. So now if I wanted to edit and play around with the video, one of the first things I might do is I always like to add title slides. So if you wanted to add a title slide, you would go to Library, and then all of these different themes come up. If you look at all of these, there's little music clips and little themes. I'm just going to go with this one since it's here. So I would drag it or click it and drag it down into a new track. Now I'd want that title slide to be before any of my video. So I will drag everything to be the same, and then I shorten my title slide. Okay, so what I just did, I probably want this to be at the start actually, so I drag that back just a little bit. So what I just did is added in a title slide, so this is what the kids would see, so I just pressed play to kind of show me how long that title slide would be. All right, so if I click it and drag it back, there are a few things you can do here. First of all, I'm going to want to edit the text. So I'm going to go up here to edit the text. Probably want the text to be almost as long as the cutout. And then, sorry, my mouse is kind of touchy. Okay, so I would click, let's say I just put Halloween costumes or something like that. And if I want it to be bigger, I can go back over here. So you're typing on this side in the text box, and then you can still play around with it up here. So maybe I want it to be at the top there. So that'll give me a title slide. Then I go back to the beginning. I always do this, and I restart it, and I say, okay, when does that show up? Oh, that's perfect. Okay, how does it transition into my slide? And then there's my transition. So that's how you add in a title slide if you're interested in a title slide. And remember, that came from the library initially, and then it's essentially just a text call out once you get there. All right. So if we go back to the start of the actual presentation, a few things I might want to do. First of all, let's say that I want to highlight so that the kids know that this is what we're going to be talking about. So I would go to Callouts, and I would click Add Callout. And then I would have to select the type of callout I want. I would like a highlighting callout. And notice it's showing up over here. I'm going to take this box that it gave me to highlight, and I'm just going to click it and drag it according to the size I want. So there we go. That would highlight the text for the kids. Notice that showed up here in track 4, but I might not want it to be very long, so I might shorten it a little bit because I just want to draw their attention for a quick second. So just kind of going back, just because I always like to make sure my timing is right. This is how long the highlight would last. Then the highlight would fade. I still would like that to be a little bit shorter, so I'm going to do that. Now let's say once the highlight is done, now I want to zoom in and draw their attention to what the point is of this whole campaign that this Ohio University students did. So what I would do is I'd click Zoom and Pan. In the upper left-hand corner, you can see it gives me a zoom box. So I'm going to shrink it down to what I'd like it to be to draw, again, their attention to that. Okay, I kind of like that zoom. I think that that'll be a good level of zoom. Notice it's not in a new track. What it showed up as is a little dot. Okay, this little dot is what allows me then to have the zoom. So let's go back, see how all this is going to transition. Boom, right to the zoom. But now I'm like, wait, that's probably long enough for a zoom. Pause it again. Now I need to zoom back out. So I'm going to click Zoom and Pan again. And I want to go back to my full screen. As I did that, when I clicked Zoom and Pan again, notice it added in another dot. So I know that that's where my zoom is going to go back to. All right, so let's start at the beginning again. Not that we have to keep going back to the beginning, but just to show you guys how it's all going to work together. There's my title slide, transitions, into the highlight, and then the zoom. Obviously, these things are moving a little bit more quickly than I would probably have them work if I were talking about this PowerPoint to my students. Okay, so as we transition into the next slide, let's say there are a few things I want to do. Maybe I want to add another call out. So I'm going to go back to call out this time. Okay, and you always have to click add call out so that you add a new one. And when you do that, you select your new call out. This time I am going to add a circle, because let's say I want to just kind of like draw attention to, you know, what is this showing? What's the stereotype here, or something like that. So that's what I would be talking about with my kids as these call outs came on the screen. Again, I already know this is going to be too long, so I'm just going to kind of shorten it up. If you wanted to check it to see how it all goes together, you just move that. See, so that'll be my circle call out. And then let's say I want to go into another call out quick. Again, you have to click add new call out before you select it, and then you select the call out. Otherwise, what will happen is it will just add in the same, it will change your previous call out is what it'll do. So in order for it to all work, you have to click add new call out every time. So let's say this time I wanted to add just a short arrow. And again, I know that this one's going to be too long before my slide transition, so I'm just going to shrink it right away, and I probably don't want these to overlap. So again, go back, double check, is all the timing right, so that you don't have to go back and change all your callouts later. That arrow might be a little bit short. So there we go. And then I'll just let it transition into the next slide and add in one more call out just to show you guys. Maybe here for a call out, instead of circling and drawing arrows, because possibly on that previous slide I talked about stereotypes, for this one I'm going to add a call out, but I think I want to add like a discussion box or a text box or something like that. So let's add this in. Kind of a little thinking bubble. So I added that in, and now I'm going to click in here to add text. And my text is going to say, how might these costumes be offensive? Because maybe I'm going to have the kids have a short discussion. You know, this slide might take a little bit longer because I want them to kind of talk about, you know, what are we seeing here? What are the stereotypes and all of those things? So double check my call out speed. I probably don't want that to start right when this comes on. And again, the kids are having a discussion during all of this. So as you can see, obviously these things are going to take a little bit longer. I'm just trying to demonstrate how you would put the callouts in. So those are a few different types of callouts. Notice I added in a title slide initially. I showed you how to highlight. Then I added in a few different callouts, so a circle or an arrow, and then a text bubble so that you guys can see a variety of different types of callouts. One other thing I guess I like to add in, I don't know if everybody likes to add it in, but I like to add in maybe a little bit of mood music during that theme slide. So I'm going to go back to the beginning to my title slide, and I'm going to go back to the library, and I'm not going to preview the music I add. I guess we'll just add in Backyard Safari. We don't want the full song. We probably just want a little intro. Oops, I didn't mean to select all of that. So let's go back to intro. Sure, that sounds good. We like that. So now what I need to do is I need to click and drag this down into my audio. So I drop it right there in the audio. It didn't show up in the right place. So I need to get it back to my beginning. Oh, it's going to make me shrink it first. Sorry. See, this is good. We're working through this together. So I just want to shrink it down to be about as long as my title slide. So I shrunk it down, and now I just need to be able to click it and drag it back to where I want it, which was right at the beginning with the title slide. Okay, so I'm at the beginning. Let's see what our presentation is going to look like here. So Halloween costumes, you hear a little bit of music. Obviously not a very smooth transition. If I wanted to, I could go in and I could add in clearer, smoother transitions by using the transition bar here, but I don't want to, I guess, extend all of this for you guys. I just wanted to give you some of the basics of how you might edit your presentation to make it look a little bit better. So that is all I have for you.